Hello everyone, it's Helen from Journaling Planet, and today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful little journal. It was through a tutorial that was posted on both Bohemian Crafting, who I just love that channel, and also Chasing Paper. I'm a very big fan of both of these channels. And I wanted to have a go myself because I'm meeting a pen friend tomorrow in the medieval city of York, and I've been writing to her for years, and I wanted to give her something to remember the occasion by. The first thing I'm going to do before I do a flip through of this is just show you how I made the structure, and I will link to the tutorial that I watched originally below. But I'm going to make some changes to how I did this one and explain to you why I'm making those changes and sort of what I would do differently if I did it again. This is fine, it's worked out lovely, but there's always something to improve. That's what you learn when you do this the first time round. So let's get started on the base, and I'll show you what I did with that first. Okay, so the journal that I just showed you and that I'll flip through after this segment was made from one of these pieces of paper, a different design, but this thickness of scrapbook paper, and it was just too thin. So I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do to thicken this up. I'm just going to masterboard the back essentially. I'm going to get some other papers and I'm going to collage over it. I'm not going to make it so thick that I can't then, let's take off that I can't then fold it, because I'll need to fold it. But I am going to just collage over it to thicken it so that when I fold it, the front and the back will already have a base. And also I'll be able to add things throughout the journal, like paper clips and things, without worrying about tearing the paper. So first of all, let's just get a base down, and I'll speed up this because I am sure you've seen masterboarding before and you don't really need to see me do it. Okay, I'm going to call that done because all I'm trying to do is cover this so that it's thicker. This is just a really basic base, and if you have thicker paper than I do, you don't even have to do this step. This is just so that it is stronger, as strong as I need it to be to do my folding and to be able to take more heavyweight ephemera when I fold it up. So that's just the only reason I'm doing that. If you've got a thicker piece of paper, you don't need to do this. You could also just stick together two one-sided pieces and that would give you the same thickness. But I just fancied doing a little bit of masterboarding. I find it very relaxing and I love the kind of effect that it creates. So this was just a tea-dyed book page. It's an index page. This was a piece of scrap paper. This was a piece of tea-dyed squared paper, these bits here, and this was I think it was a tea-dyed receipt, but because the acidity of the tea dye was quite high, it did remove a lot of the ink. So you can make it less acidic by adding some, I think it's baking soda, baking powder, you can make it less acidic. So that was something that I learned when I did some tea dyeing recently. So in terms of folding then, and cutting, there's very little that you need to do, and you can measure this and you can score it and you can do all those things, but I'm just going to do it by eyeballing it because I think that it can be done that way quite easily. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my piece of paper in half, and I'm going to line up this side as best I can to get the best fold. But you know what, if I have to trim a bit off the top, it is not the end of the world, so it's all fine. So first thing is to fold and get a really nice neat fold along that line, like so, and then unfold it, and then you're going to fold it in half again the other way and get it as squarely lined up as you can. This is not going to be perfect because I can already see that the way I've masterboarded it, it's slightly overhanging, giving me a full sense of where the edge is, so that's okay. We'll do some trimming later. So I folded it in half, and then these sides as well. See, this is already coming up a little bit here. You should wait until your glue dries before you do all this, you see. Don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. So yeah, so that's folded, and then we're going to fold again these bits in half. Get them as close to the center fold as you can, so it's all as even as possible. That's that. And then you can do the same on the other side, and we're going to bring that in and fold it so that there's 4 sections in one direction and 2 sections in the other direction. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so next thing to do is to cut along the center fold, but you only go through 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, no further. Okay, so we'll get that there. I'll speed up this cutting because I'm sure you've seen cutting before. Okay, now which way you fold this depends on what you'll have on the inside and what you have on the outside. Okay, so if you fold it this way, which is the way that I prefer to fold it, you'll have your, let's just get that nice and folded there. You'll have your masterboarded pieces on the outside and the scrapbook paper on the inside, which is the way that I prefer it. But you can, of course, fold the other direction so that you have these things, these kind of scrap paper on the outside and the masterboarding on the inside. It really just depends what you want to do. And I'm not worried about how straight it is at the top right now because I can trim that down at the top and the bottom. I'm just looking at, have I got, if I open this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I have. And then what I would do to create the little booklet that I showed you, and again, I'm going to link to the original tutorials who do this a lot more neatly than I do. And if you're not sure about a fold, you can readjust at this point and just get it into a better place. If you're not happy with where it's sitting, now's the time to have a little go at, you know, bringing it more into the place where you want it to be. So not too happy about that fold, for example. I just want that to be a little bit more. That's it. So in order to get it where I had it in that Lace and Ladies journal, where there was the pockets and everything, it's a matter of gluing down. So I would take my glue. This is going to be the first top loading pocket here. And I would just, first of all, I would straighten out this masterboard and let it dry. I think it's probably going to be the best call for that. But I would glue along here and along here to make my first top loading pocket. And then when I got to this part, it would be a side loading pocket. So I would just glue along here and here. And then I would also glue along here and here to get to the top loading pocket. I don't want to do that just yet because I'm still waiting for the masterboarding glue to dry, but hopefully that you can get the sense, and if not, I will put the original tutorial down at the bottom so that you understand what it looks like and how to do it. Get a real step-by-step then. So that's how that's created. And now I'm going to take you back to my Ladies and Lace journal so that you can see how I put it all together and the things that I put in the pockets. I think this is such a cool little project, and I'm really grateful to the people who have shared it on YouTube, who I've linked to down below. And I will finish this for another friend, this particular journal. So thanks for watching. Here's the flip through. Okay, now you've seen how I've put this base together, I'm going to show you this finished version. The closure is extremely simple. It is simply some lace tied around, and I do love that as a simple closure because it looks great and it's super easy. There's no eyelets involved, so that's really nice. I'm going to, before I get onto the inside, just talk you through the outside now. I'll just bring this up to camera so you can get a good close-up. Because I use one-sided paper, this and this was blank. Okay, so what I did was I covered it with some tea-dyed paper, which at least strengthened it. And I then used some kind of floral Victorian paper, tore it up and glued it on the front, the back and the front. You can't see much of it left on the front now because you can maybe see a little bit of it there because I have done quite a few embellishments on the front. I'll explain why I've done that shortly. And then I used this bit here is just distress ink stamped onto tea-dyed paper. It looks pretty cool. And I did the same on the back to make sure that it matched. Used the same stamp, and I distress inked down the side of the tear as well. So that was pretty straightforward to make that base. And then I ink stamped this onto some paper, brown paper bag. So there is some real junk used in this journal. It's not all scrapbook paper. I will talk to you through the bits that are real junk, as it were. So brown paper bag that I got from a purchase, I stamped that and I used my glue stick and just press it down very firmly. And then I decided that I was going to sew around the edge, as you can see. And that's when I started to realise I was going to have some more embellishments on because my machine had a little moment here. You can't see it now because I've covered it up on both sides, but it had a little moment. It's not the most expensive machine in the world, so it did have a little moment. It just clogged. It, you know, it got a huge kind of just a huge bundle of thread here, and I was like, great, I spent all this time making a beautiful cover and now look at that, it's ruined. I had a tantrum. No, I didn't really. I wasn't brilliantly impressed, but I didn't have a tantrum. I thought that's okay because I can just cover this over because of the nature of what I'm doing. So I continued to sew all the way around, and I turned it over and sewed all the way around the back as well, just to give it a little border and make it a little bit more, you know, unique and individual. And then what I did was I got this, I was going to put this on anyway, this strip of lace for the spine, just a piece of lace that I picked up. This is reclaimed material from a thrift store. And I also had these little, it was sort of cut out of a doily, a crocheted doily, these little flowers. And I thought, well, it's a bit much. I tried putting one here just to cover my mistake. No, too much. So I cut it in half, which I never thought of doing before. And it kind of mirrors the top and the bottom now, and I kind of like that. I kind of like the effect. So sometimes, you know, it's really interesting when you make mistakes, you can actually end up doing something that you like even more. So that's something to bear in mind next time you make your next, inverted commas, mistake. Might not be a mistake. This is one of the changes that I made to the inside of this booklet. Everyone else has just left it blank when I've seen them make it. And they said, oh, you know, people can write on here. But the thing is that I've chosen really busy paper because I wanted something that was kind of pen pal themed. So as you can see, I mean, there's not much writing space if I just left it like that. So I created a little notebook with scraps of paper, which you can do, mostly tea-dyed paper, but there is some leftover kind of, school paper there, a little bit of proper stationery paper, if you like, and just some scraps. So all I did was I put them together and I aligned them at the top, and I just ran my sewing machine just to stitch through there. If I wanted to get really, crazy with it, I could put an embellishment at the top here, but I quite like having the mechanics on show, which is something that I've said before in my videos, and I will say it again. And then I just glued all of this. This is just glued on, and I'm thinking, well, if she uses all this, the glue, it won't hold like really that well. She could just pull it off if she wanted to, and then cover it over with another notebook, and she could have a new space for writing, which I will tell her. This top loading pocket here is a tag. Oh, it's so pretty, if I do say so myself. I already had this masterboard lying around that I hadn't finished up yet. So I just took a massive flower on the front, some lace at the top, and I covered the back of it with, again, paper bag. So more junk being used in my junk journal. This is a side loading pocket. Again, I had this masterboard lying around. Again, some of the masterboard was used from papers that would have otherwise gone in the bin. These are two images from Daphne's diary. And I am trying to use my Daphne's diaries images up because I learned that you cannot sell products with those images on. I think that's right, and I'm right. Please correct me if it's just the images themselves you can't sell, but you can sell products. But I think that the website is pretty clear. And although I don't sell my things, eventually I might have a big D-stash, and I don't want to have to go through and be like, now which one of these things had Daphne's diaries bits and pieces in it? And it's just too time consuming. So I'm not going to be buying any more Daphne's diary because of that. I'm sorry to say, because it is a beautiful magazine. It's just I haven't got the resources to be going through and going, which one of these did I use Daphne's diary? And so I'm just giving away all of my makes as quickly as possible with Daphne's diary things in them, so that I know that everything else has got an angel policy that I can use. Again, this was just this was wrapping paper that would have been thrown away in both cases, and then a bit of book page. So a lot of them, my masterboards are made from things like wrapping paper and paper bag that would have been thrown away, and a bit of book page thrown in. This was from an old children's dictionary, illustrated children's dictionary. I fussy cut around it. I added some lace at the top. I'd already done the fussy cutting. I'd already done the masterboard. This was a very quick process. And then I paper bagged over the back. I did sew around all these as well, by the way. And this time my sewing machine did play ball. It's not every time that it plays ball. So you never know when it's going to just have a bit of a moment. It's a very cheap machine, but it doesn't do badly. And then at the back, I've got another one of these little notes because I just wanted there to be more writing space. So I've got 3 tags. I don't think I showed you the back of the pull-out tag. Maybe I did. Oh, look. This is why it is good to do a flip through, because you can then find out, is there anything that needs gluing down? Yes, there is. Excuse me. I think you'll find you're meant to be glued down there. Thank you. I'd appreciate it. Oh, look, you've got a little friend. I'd appreciate it if you just do as you were told. You know, it's actually quite early here. I don't have time for this. I'm going to meet a pen friend, you know. Okay. I'm going to meet my pen friend tomorrow, and I want to have a good night's sleep and a nice restful day. Right, there we go. That's lovely. So you could see that was just paper bag again. So that's a pull-out tag, and then a top-loading pocket again at the back. And again, I added these notes, as I was saying before. I was really interrupted by that unglued corner. That I wanted some more writing space for my pen pal. I'm sure there's tiny little bits where she could scribble in, but I think there's the tags. the back of the tags, and there's 2 little notebooks, and that's probably okay, that's enough. I have dabbled with the idea of putting a paper clip at the top here, so that I can add some more stationery, but to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't use this single layer, kind of very thin scrapbook paper again, is I'm worried it'll just tear at the top, and it's not worth the risk. So you've already seen the back, it's the same as the front, and that is it. That is it. And I just think this will make a nice present. I'm going to get a nice envelope to put it in, and this will make a lovely present for someone that I care a lot about, and will make it clear to my pen pal just how grateful I am for the relationship that we have. And, you know, I'm a bit of an introvert. That's why I like pen paling so much. It allows me to communicate not in person. A bit like this, I guess. A bit like these videos. And so I really just wanted to do something to show her that I was really grateful for all the letters back and forth over the last, you know, it must be about 5 years now that we've been communicating. So I hope she likes it. And it was also a real pleasure to make it, knowing that I would present it to her tomorrow and get to see the look on her face. So thank you for watching. I hope this video has been inspiring, and I will be back again with another one soon. There is plenty of inspiration on the channel already, and if you're new, do sign up to my mailing list, because I give away loads of goodies all the time, including printables and PDF tutorials. So, hope to see you there. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.